Welcome. In this session, I'm going to discuss questions from level 2. So, here is a question from level 2, question number 1. So, wax gland present in the ear canal is called. So, first option, sweat gland. So, sweat glands are distributed all over the skin, on palm and on foot, and it produces sweat. And this prostate gland is part of male reproductive system. Tube system, and this one produces prostate fluid, so it produces static fluid. Then coming to Cowper's gland, so this Cowper's gland is also part of male reproductive system. Here I'm talking so human male reproductive system and even the bulbourethral glands. So these Cowper's glands, which are also called bulbourethral glands. These bulbourethral glands are one pair and are located below. They are located below prostatic. They present below prostatic gland, and this one produces fluid, and it's called the right. And the last one, the cereminous glands. So these cereminous glands are the one that actually produce earwax. They produce earwax, and they are located in the external auditory meatus. So, this is inner, and this is auditory meatus, and located in the auditory meatus. These cereminous glands are present, and also sebaceous glands are present. Here I would like to make a correction. Uh, in the D option in the material, they have given it sebaceous gland or cereminous gland. So you remove that sebaceous gland and make it only as a cereminous gland. So sebaceous glands, so these produce sebum. So they are also seen in the auditory meatus. They are different. Sebaceous glands and cereminous glands are not same. So sebaceous glands, they are different. They produce a sebum, whereas cereminous glands, they produce ear wax. So the right option in this case is cereminous glands. The wax gland which is present in the ear canal is cereminous gland. Option D is right. Next question. Tongue is under control of. So here let's see the first option, facial nerve. So the facial nerve is a mixed nerve, and this mixed nerve is supplied to taste buds. Of course, it has a sensory function to. From taste buds it receives the information, and then it is also supplied to facial, then palate, and then supplied to hyoid, then sublingual and submandibular salivary glands, etc. Right. Then coming to trigeminal nerve. So trigeminal nerve is also a mixed nerve. It is also a mixed nerve, and this trigeminal nerve, which means it has both sensory and motor functions. So it receives information from lacrimal glands, then muscles of lower jaw, then from sublingual and submaxillary salivary glands. So here I mentioned mostly the motor. So here taste buds, this is sensory, and the remaining whichever I have mentioned in this case, they are all motor. So all these are motor functioning, right? And then coming to glossopharyngeal. So we know here facial nerve is a seventh cranial nerve. So this is a seventh cranial nerve. Trigeminal nerve is a fifth cranial nerve, and glossopharyngeal nerve is ninth cranial nerve. Okay, so this glossopharyngeal nerve is also a mixed nerve. Is also a mixed nerve, and this one has sensory, right, functions from functions to taste buds, pharynx, and so, and it is also receives information from tongue, right? So then taste buds, pharynx supplied to, okay, and is also supplied to sublingual and submaxillary salivary glands, right? So autonomous nervous system is a different, okay. Now here the right answer out of all the four options, that is a glossopharyngeal nerve which is supplied to the tongue, is the right option. So option C is the right. So the next question, which of the following structures is present characteristically only in mammalian brain? So it includes corpus luteum. So here corpus luteum is formed in ovaries of a female. So let's see. So corpus luteum is formed from Graafian follicle, and is the one that is responsible for producing a hormone called progesterone, right? So hence that is not the part characteristically only in the mammalian brain. So he asked about mammalian brain. So whereas the corpus luteum is a part of ovary, the part of ovary. Then coming to corpus callosum. So corpus callosum is a structure that two cerebral hemispheres. Connects two cerebral hemispheres on, okay, their posterior side. So below the cerebral hemispheres, there is a nerve tract that connects both the cerebral hemispheres. Then coming to corpus striatum. So here corpus striatum, a corpus striatum is a nucleus in the forebrain. So nucleus are structures that will be present deep in the, okay, forebrain. A nucleus in the forebrain. So I can say it's a cluster of neurons. So these which are located in the forebrain, and the function, coming to its function, so it helps in cognition, reward, then coordinated movements, right, and also decision making, etc. are examples of this corpus striatum. Then coming to corpus fibrosum. So this corpus fibrosum is a small fibrous structures which are formed in the ovary, right? So a small fibrous mass in the ovary, so that is seen following atresia of ovarian follicles. So that's about corpus fibrosum, which is a part of ovary. So this we'll see in case of ovary. And answer among the four is corpus callosum. So this is the structure that is characteristically present only in mammalian brain. So option B is right. The next question, in the internal ear, the organ of Corti, which bears hair cells, are located in. So let's see. Uh, so I know there are three canals. So these are the scala tympani. I'm sorry, scala vestibuli, and this is scala tympani, and this is scala media. Okay, so here we have a basilar membrane separating the scala media and scala tympani, and this on located on the top of this basilar membrane. So basilar membrane located is the organ of Corti. So this is a tectorial membrane, and here we have hair cells. So these are the locations of hair cells. So hair cells, the tectorial membrane, all together will come under the organ of Corti. So that organ of Corti which bears hair cells will be located in scala media. Scala vestibuli, so is the one that is filled with peri-limb, and the tympani is also filled with peri-limb, whereas the scala media is filled with endolimb. Right. And this sacculus, so here sacculus, which perceives vertical movement. So this one perceives vertical movement and is a part of vestibular apparatus. Okay, so this is different. So scala vestibuli, so it's filled with, it doesn't have that organ of Corti, even the scala tympani. So the option scala media is the one that consists of organ of Corti, which is actual auditory receiving structure. So option C is the right option. The next question, unidirectional transmission of nerve impulse through nerve fiber is due to fact that. So here let's see. Okay, so all these are dendrites. So one neuron is connected to another neuron in this way. So at end we have synaptic knobs, and again here the cyton and dendrites of another neuron. So here the synaptic knobs or the terminals, the axon terminals, will be lying on dendrites or cyton of the next neuron. So the axon terminals of one neuron lie on dendrites or cyton of the next neuron. So you can see here, right? So these are all dendrites. It's lying on the dendrites, and again it's axon terminals which end with the synaptic knobs. Okay, and here the transmission of the impulse, okay, will be received either by cyton or by dendrites, and this information will pass to axon. The information will pass on to axon, and this is how it gets transmitted. And even if the impulse generated on the axon and likes to move to the cyton or dendrites, the information will not go. So say suppose here the information is coming, okay, in this way, and here the dendrites don't have neurotransmitters. So it is only these synaptic knobs. So this is the synaptic knob, and those synaptic knob contain synaptic vesicles. They contain synaptic vesicles, and those synaptic vesicles will contain neurotransmitters. So right, these dendrites don't have the neurotransmitters. So dendrites, no neurotransmitter. So hence even though the information comes to dendrites, the information cannot pass on to the next neuron through the axon terminal. So the transmission in this direction, so it is not possible. Neurotransmitter. Okay, right. So the impulse from the dendrites or cyton to the next neuron, that is axon terminals, is not possible because the dendrites will not have neurotransmitters. Only the synaptic knob will contain the synaptic vesicles which are filled with those neurotransmitters. So then the information, once it reaches this okay, synaptic vesicles, so there we know the synaptic vesicles will merge with the membrane, then break open and release the neurotransmitter into the synaptic cleft, thereby transmitting the impulse from one neuron to the another neuron. So hence the transmission of nerve impulse is unidirectional. So transmission of nerve impulse is unidirectional. So the question, so unidirectional transmission of nerve impulse through a nerve fiber is due to fact that, so let's say the first option, nerve fiber is insulated by medullary sheath, no. Then sodium pump starts operating only at the cyton and then continues into the, okay, fiber, right? So no. Then neurotransmitters are released. So this is actually B option is not concerned with that. So neurotransmitters are released by the dendrites and not by the axon endings. No. So I told you that dendrites don't produce these neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters are released by the axon endings and not by dendrites. So option D. So that is neurotransmitters are released by axon endings. You can see here these axon terminals and they release the neurotransmitter. So option D is the right option. The next question, cerebrospinal fluid is present between. So we know here the cranium, and above that there is a presence of skin, and attached to that hair, and below this we have three meninges that cover the brain. So this is one meninx. The next below that there is one more, and one, okay, three meninges are present. So these are three meninges. So here the one which is very close to the cranium, so this is cranium, skin, and these are all hairs. Then below the cranium, so this outermost meninx is called dura mater, and the innermost one is called pia mater, and in between this is arachnoid. So arachnoid matter. So here between the arachnoid and pia matter, we will see the presence of cerebrospinal fluid. So here cerebrospinal fluid is present between pia mater and arachnoid. So below the pia mater, we will be seeing the brain. So this is brain. So it is these two, arachnoid and pia maters, that encloses the cerebrospinal fluid. Encloses cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so let's see the options here. Beneath the pia mater, no, beneath the pia mater we have brain. So between pia mater and arachnoid matter, yes, it will be between pia mater and arachnoid matter. Between arachnoid and dura mater, no, so it is not. So here this is not the option, and not, and in extra dura mater, not at all. So the answer is between pia mater and arachnoid matter. So B option is right option. The next question, touch on right hand stimulates neurons in. So here the left cerebral hemisphere and right cerebral hemispheres. So here the left cerebral hemisphere controls the right side. So it controls the right side of the person, whereas the right cerebral hemisphere controls the left side of the person. Okay, so these cerebral hemispheres who have the somatic sensory areas which control the right side. So in the left, so this is left cerebral hemisphere, so somatic sensory area of the left cerebral hemisphere controls the right side, and similar we'll see in case of right cerebral hemisphere, sensory area will be so on the left side. Now this is because of decussation of those nerve fibers. So you can see here It's called the decussation of pyramids. So you can see crossing of those nerve fibers from left to right and right to left. So this is, as I mentioned, decussation of pyramids here, and it occurs just before junction between. So that will be junction between medulla oblongata, between medulla oblongata and spinal cord. So it is because of this here decussation, which means the crossing. So it is decussation of pyramids. So I'll write here, it's a little bigger, decussation of pyramids, right? So hence the right answer in this case, the touch on right hand stimulates neurons in the left somatic sensory area. So option A is the right option. Okay, so here one more point. So the right side sensory information is received by the left cerebral hemisphere that has this somatic sensory area, and vice versa. Okay, so for that, the option A I have chosen as the answer here. Of course, the A option is the right option. The next question, choroid plexus functions too. So here plexus, which means network. So here choroid plexus is a network of capillaries which are located one in each of the ventricles of brain. And these choroid plexus, here the meaning plexus is network, and this choroid plexus is responsible for the production of cerebrospinal fluid. So choroid plexus, it produces CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. So here the choroid plexus functions to produce lymph, no. Produce endolymph, no. And it produces cerebrospinal fluid, yes. Option C is the right option. The next question, the primary visual area is located in. uh, we know that the brain, we divide it into four regions: the frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal lobes. So here in this picture on the right side, I'm showing you the different areas of a brain. So here you can see this is the primary visual area, and that's surrounded by the secondary visual area, and this is a part of occipital lobe. So this is occipital lobe, and you can see here this is the frontal lobe, and located in the frontal lobe. So in our earlier sessions we have discussed the Broca's area, which is concerned with the speech, so this is the Broca's area located in the frontal brain. And okay, in our textbook also they have mentioned with some blue color on red color, but they did not mention that what the areas are actually. So this area is a primary motor area. So this blue color region, so this all is the primary motor area, and this is a primary sensory area of the brain. Okay, and here you can see the auditory areas, and then primary and secondary auditory areas. And we also have discussed about vernix area. So that is concerned with posterior speech area. Comprehension of speech is concerned with this vernix area, right? So the primary visual area is located, so as I told, it's in the occipital lobe. So the right option is occipital lobe. Option D is right. The next question, arbor vitae. So the meaning of arbor vitae is, it's called a tree of life, and this is located in cerebellum. Is located in the cerebellum. So we can see in this picture, when we take a sagittal section, so this is a sagittal section, and in the sagittal section you can see here, okay, the white matter is seen, okay, like a branched one. So you can see this appears just like a tree with its branches. Okay, so this is what we call it, the arbor vitae. And we know the in the brain, so the cortex, the outer region, is the gray matter. So gray matter, and the inner one will be the white matter. So this arbor vitae is the white matter. So it's a white matter that appears like the tree with the branches, and also that's why we call it a tree of the actually meaning is tree of life, located in the cerebellum. And in this picture you can also see other parts, the pons, okay, the pons region. And here is the fourth ventricle, that is diacyl. You can see the fourth ventricle, which will be filled with cerebrospinal fluid. And then you can also see the medulla oblongata, and here is the region, so that is choroid plexus. So earlier actually the choroid plexus, which I told that it's a network of capillaries which produces, so choroid plexus is the network of capillaries, and this produces CSF. So I said it produces CSF. And here actually there are four choroid plexus. Okay, so there will be two lateral ventricular choroid plexus, and okay, one ventricular choroid plexus. So this is choroid plexus, and then one ventricular, so that we locate in the hind choroid. So total we have okay, four choroid plexus. So that's different. Okay, so here coming to this question, arbor vitae, so option C, so that is cerebellum, is the right answer. The next question, in the parasympathetic nerve system, which of the following is released? So here the first option, epinephrine. So epinephrine is produced by sympathetic nervous system, right? Whereas acetylcholine is produced by parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, and serotonin, which is happy hormone, commonly called happy hormone, and this is mainly seen in brain. Okay, so in brain, bowels, and platelets. So right, and this actually controls mood, happiness, and anxiety. Right. And coming to norepinephrine, so norepinephrine is again produced by sympathetic nerve system, and we know here sympathetic nerve system comes into action in stressful conditions, whereas the parasympathetic comes into action while taking rest. So here in parasympathetic nerve system, which of the following is released? So here the epinephrine, norepinephrine, so they actually will increase the functions of the body, whereas the parasympathetic which decreases. So here the epinephrine and norepinephrine, so both we consider them as a flight or fight hormones, right, and which increase the heartbeat and the metabolic function, I mean uh, rate of the person. So here we'll take the option, so that is acetylcholine, so which is concerned with the parasympathetic nerve system. So other hormones are concerned with the sympathetic or okay, the in the brain. So here the right option is B option, that is acetylcholine, right, is released in the parasympathetic nervous system. With this, I will end this session, and in the next session, we will see few more questions from level 2.